Tomb of the Spider Queen, everybody! Our second series in the playoffs of Division S Europe. Washed up against nothing left. And yeah, we have a couple of subs today. We have Nurok subbing in and Nic. Nurok and Nic playing for Washed Up today since Smexy and JayPL were not able to make the weekend. And also, in addition to that, we have one player for nothing left today on Saturday. Playoffs will last 2 days. Tomorrow Mopsio will be back, but today he couldn't make it. So Speedwagon, a real-life connection from Polyboss, is subbing in for them and is going to try and help them to make it through the first couple of matches here. But tomorrow Mopsio would be available for them again, just so you guys have a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. But especially it's going to be awesome to see Nurok again. Nurok here, it's going to be pretty amazing. So after HTC went down, Nurok started to focus a lot more on League of Legends and has started to make his way through the ranks there. I'm not quite sure how exactly that progress is doing so far, but as far as I know, he's actually steadily climbing and starting to get a lot better with this. Nic has been playing with other teams in Heroes of the Storm still and has been funning around there a bit, has been playing in the Heroes Hype series, for example, but didn't make the original Division S teams. So here in the playoffs, both of them are now representing, and it should be pretty awesome to see all of these guys play together again. And yeah, with that, we're having two really tough teams going up against each other, so that's pretty epic. We're now seeing Mena on Hanzo, at least for now. Obviously, there's a swapping round coming up too. And we have on bans Tracer, Li Ming, Jaina, plus Dibbles. Polyboss immediately on Tomb of the Spider Queen going for Rexa. Probably not a bad pick, not only because the hero itself is obviously strong here, but another thing that's quite important in this setup is that Hazu played a lot of Rexa on this map. And since the question is definitely going to pop up again, yes, this is on the live patch. There are no tournament patches anymore. So all of the games that you see with the draft will always be played live. There's also the one explanation why some of the games, at least on the YouTube channel, are not with a draft, because those are usually casted from replays, because they are probably from North America, and obviously because of the time zone difference it's hard to catch them live a little bit. But everything you see with the draft is on the live patch. There are no tournament servers anymore. Those pretty much died with HGC. Mena is not going to have a chance to play Kel'Thas here, since that hero gets banned out really quickly. And obviously one of the things that we're definitely going to have a look at as well is that movement speed change. There's a lot of change that we've seen. Urel, for example, with the Hand of Freedom on level 4 can now, so to say, self-cleanse. It's not quite that you can dodge out on the stuns, but it's about the roots and the slows here. And she can now apply that to herself, which is a pretty big deal. There's other changes that have come through with the patch 2. We already talked about it in the previous series, but we're going to address some of these things again. But especially that movement speed change across the map by 10% is incredibly impactful, especially on a competitive level, obviously. We saw a few examples in the previous series with Granite Gaming and Wind and Rain. For now, we're having ETC banned out. Speedwagon, again, not sure what we're going to expect from him here. I have very little information about him. He is the sub for Mopsio today. Mopsio will be able to play tomorrow. DAB, this point with Gul'dan, and we also have an Uberak. Now, noteworthy is that Chen has not been played. So why are we talking about Chen? Because Chen had actually won 3 games in the series between Granite Gaming and Wind and Rain. And the 2 games where he didn't win, he was banned out. So the Chen shenanigans were pretty impressive there. And obviously the last patch has changed things slightly. A lot of heroes have been addressed, some only in small manners, other in with a couple of more significant changes. So it's something to definitely watch out for. And ooh, Chromie! Alright. The little gnome is back to business. Seems like Mena is going to try and fire away here again. That's going to be interesting. Not really a hero that we see too often, but they played it once in the past. Most of the times when players played Chromie, that backfired really, really hard. Even after that double rework that Blizzard tried to pull off there. But Mena was actually successful on Chromie in the one game where they played it. Now Greymane got buffed on the auto attacks and also on the cursed bullet, so we have seen a lot more Greymane, and I expect even more to be happening on that area soon. So yep, Greymane gets picked on the last for Blakidne. And guys, with that we're ready. Tomb of the Spider Queen is our first map, so let's jump straight in. It's a best of 5 series. We're here in the Division S European playoffs, so let's start with game number 1. Game number 1 in our series. We are headed straight into Tomb of the Spider Queen. Washed up on the left, nothing left on the right. Hazops on Hanzo, Mane on Chromie. We have Eternal on Urel, Nurok on Malfurion, and Nick on Johanna. On the right side, nothing left with Boss on Rexa. Speedwagon subbing in today for Mopsio. Mopsio will be able to play on Sunday, the second day of the playoffs again, if they make it that far. Blickitne on Greymane, DAB on Gul'dan, and Linked on Tyrande. And for now, also a quick note, Anubarak was also changed in the recent patch. He was hit by the nerf hammer a little bit. The cooldown increase on the hardened carapace is probably the biggest impact that we've seen there. So from 6 seconds up to 7 makes him definitely a little bit less survivable. But he also got changed in terms of the epicenter. Now epicenter, the cooldown reduction previously was at 1.25 and has been reduced to 1 second now for every single hero that you connect with. Personally, I think that the cooldown reduction nerf is not that big of a deal. Now, don't get me wrong, that cooldown obviously matters. It's not like the cooldown reduction was in any way bad. It matters and it's a big part of it. But oftentimes with Anubarak, especially with these kill comms that we have these days, where you have, for example, a Tyrande to follow up on the stun and then quick burst damage, the whole thought process is to just jump in, get the quick kill, and you don't necessarily expect that you can use the burrow charge 2-3 times in a row there. If you can it multiple times in a team fight, that's obviously an advantage, but the whole idea of that engage is usually a bit of a different one. So a huge part of that, the talent in the first place, is the increase on the stun area. So that's still there. Therefore, I would say when it comes to Anubarak, the more impactful change was definitely the cooldown increase on the hardened carapace. But yeah, when we're talking about changed heroes, I mentioned Greymane a little bit. We're going to talk about other things soon as well. For now, we're taking a bit of a look at Chromie with once again the first time on level 1 for Mane, and the chronic conditions taken right away on level 4 now as well. So yeah, Chromie was played once by Mane, and one of the few teams that successfully were able to win a game with her. As I said before, after all the reworks, pretty much everybody dabbled a little bit in Chromie, and most of the teams decided very quickly that she's definitely not worth their time. And yeah, the win rate of Chromie was absolutely abysmal. But washed up, made it happen once, and they're trying to make it happen twice. They take down Gul'dan first, that's where Urel comes into play. And they're firing away against Greymane with Eternal jumping in, pushing Greymane out. They might get the kill there, not quite. Oh, but it's close. Below 100 HP. Speedwagon was also in trouble here. And nearly gets wrecked there, but had the hardened carapace active. And I mentioned earlier that Hand of Freedom got changed a little bit. So the talent name also indicates very strongly that Urel is an American goat. Every single time that you see freedom as part of a sentence or a name, you know definitely where that goat is coming from. But talking about Chromie there for a second, so now you can actually use that on yourself as well. And that was a huge change for sure. And since we also have obviously the movement speed increase, movement speed talents in general are most likely going to be picked less. That's, for example, on a Pale Horse. That could be something like a Divine Steed. I don't really think they're going to disappear completely, but you definitely don't need them as often anymore as they were picked before. Either way, with that said, we're now also having the Underking taken, so more of an engaged build from Anubarak, not going into Carapace in any sense. Hunter-Gatherer on level 4, and with the Underking, we would expect to see the Subterranean Shield too. Nice, walks into the trap and gets immediately attacked there. So there we go, up to the top, and there we have it. Another one trapped, and Mane getting more stacks together, capitalizing on that now that he also picked the proper greeting on level 7. Down to the bottom of the map, Urel on the other hand still getting attacked here, trying to jump on Boss, and Pody has to be careful. If Urel at any point gets a chance for a kill, she's gonna go for it. And the solo laners are the ones that hold most of the time a huge amount of the gems that the teams have. Well, if you lose your solo laner and there's nobody else around to pick that up, then you are in a world of trouble or falling hard behind. Hazops goes down, and yep, that's Hanzo immediately eating his bow there. So that's a quick kill. That's a kill for a kill right now. Eternal with the attempt to turn in. Didn't quite work out for them. But yep, still getting all of the gems here. Nobody making the rotation for the Siege Giants, by the way. So that's something that we're not seeing for now. Having enough Broccoli. Oh, Broccoli doesn't give a shit about the turn in. Nope. Broccoli just sits there and says like, alright boys, let's go straight into the mid lane. Alright. And there's at least a kill attempt against Linked. Oh, the stun. Urel still wants it, but doesn't get it. And now Eternal might be in trouble. Jumps out again, and the rest of the team is there to help out. So yeah, they can keep the goat alive a little bit longer. The freedom goat. Yeah, I definitely recognize the lack of freedom when I moved back to Europe. So obviously when you go to America, the second you leave the airport, there's all that freedom in the air. And when you go back to Europe, this is definitely something that we're lacking here. It's just like, yeah, there's only one free country in the world. Or so I was told while I was in NA. But either way, memes aside, moving with level 7 now, definitely the attempt from both of the teams to turn in. And 40 gems have already been delivered by Nothing Left. So that means another 10 and you have the first web weave away. Level 10 for Chromie is now also ready, which gives us the time loop. And they might try and get, yeah, against DAB that would of course been the dream. Hazu Ops is poking away and they go for a Nubarak. Yeah, nicely done. Good job by Speedwagon. Again, I have zero idea what to expect from him. But that was a cool move there. Really making sure that he doesn't get sucked in again, because that could have been a kill against him. Turn-in attempt now also by Nic up at the top. Nic in the main tank position again. Yeah, Blikitni can try and turn in, but that's not going to happen. Not while Johanna's around. And Nubarak, on the other hand, gets killed. Alright. Seems like Hanzo finally connected a couple of those arrows. The blue web weavers are now descending as well. So the start in the game, pretty good for Washed Up. Noob surviving the earlier attempt by Chromie to drop him. But then Hanzo able to deliver the final blow here. And as it happens, we actually see the Chitinous plating on level 7 over the Subterranean shield. Alright, cooldown reduction on that end instead of having the Subterranean here. It's a little bit surprising, to be honest with you. But yeah, interesting. So for now, at the bottom of the map, we're still having the big push happening, but up to the top, Hazops is trying to empower that web weaver also a little bit. And there's already the aggression happening as they're trying to break through that wall. Main is sitting at the side and trying, of course, to complete his level 1 quest. He's currently sitting at 31 stacks, which isn't too bad, honestly. He wants that second Sandblast Echo. Web weaver at the top has already been eliminated, but now everybody's rotating towards the bottom lane. That's the only web weaver that's still in play. The level 10 abilities are in a little bit quicker for Nothing Left, and that allows them to defend quite easily. They could force a fight with the Cocoon here, but want to be a little bit careful with that. So now here we go. 10s on both sides. That's the Blessed Shield for us. Pretty standard actually. Tranquility also for Malfurion. And we have again the time loop as always an option. And talking time loop, there it is. The stun comes through. Nice damage against Pori. Really nice damage against him. But Hanzo gets wrecked by Greymane. Greymane goes in, goes for the throat. Blikitni secures the kill here. Nicely done by him, and now they're getting even more damage out. Mena completes the level 1 quest, but Gul'dan is just firing away in those choke points and gets mad value. Blikitni low though, Speedwagon also, and they get the kill against the Nubarak. Misha's about to fall too. And yep, they at least get the doggy. Oh, Misha dead, Hanzo back up at the top. And now we have 3 kills against 2, but a really nice opening into this series. Starting to just jump back and forth, getting a lot of kills. Both of the teams, huge potential in that last one. Horrify, obviously, a huge threat if you're in such a choke point situation. Chromie, with all of the interrupts that she has on turn-ins, now also has the timeout, which really is going to help Mena here. And Mena has been able to do some serious damage too. I mean, he has his quest completed already. He's sitting at 26,000 damage and therefore holds the top numbers in the game. But I gotta admit, Chromie's problem was never really to not get damage. Every single time we've seen Chromie lose, for example, she still was able to get a lot of damage out. It was often just a problem of really securing the kills. If you just poke all day long, but you can't really force a kill, that damage doesn't really mean a whole lot. But at least so far, things are going well for them. Blessed Shield, arrow misses completely. Cocoon is out on the other hand against Chromie right now. Nurok is trying to fire that down a little bit, so both of the teams exchange cooldowns, but there's not a single kill. Nothing yet. Still the pressure though. And a turn-in attempt now by Washed Up. They have enough gems to get the second turn-in a row. 70 gems in the hands of Nothing Left, and they're at least deterring from securing this. A rotation towards the bottom, where we have Urel already sitting. So Eternal is trying to not only get a few additional gems for his team, but is also escorting another minion wave straight back into that. Good interrupt. Honestly, this lineup from Washed Up is just fucking annoying to deal with. I mean, think about that. You have Malfurion with... Oh, that could be a kill! Timeout, baby! Yeah, but you're gonna die. Min is gonna die. He is down. But can they get the counter kill? DAB! No, maybe. Oh, Hurel! Holy hell, they are everywhere! Eternal! Oh, and he jumps out. But think about this for a second. Think about the interrupts here. You have Hanzo who just goes straight in with a bullseye. Like here, for example, gets the first one straight through. He has the arrows the entire time, can poke from the outside. Chromie just has all of those ranged spells. You have Malfurion with the Moonfire, Broccoli coming in, the flashlight of Johanna. It's honestly insane. I mean, it must be such a pain in the ass to be on Nothing Left's team right now and try and get the turn in. They finally get it, but they had to take Chromie down for that and win a huge battle there. If they don't do that, they just don't have any chance whatsoever to make that play. Here comes the attack against Hanzo. Double stun, triple, Misha! Yeah, and that's a dead Hazu. Hazu down, and that couldn't have come at a worse time for Washed Up. The Web Weavers are already on the ground, and now it's a disaster. Web Weavers in, you're in a 4 versus 5 at this point, and they are going to do some damage. Are they going to take down a fort? I don't think so. Are we going to see a lot of those walls fall? Very, very likely. I mean, top wall is already breaking apart. Down at the bottom of the map, Rexa with Misha and the Web Weavers are just taking the first tower, take the gate, and they might have a chance to take the second one as well. Top side, they did a lot of damage here. And they have taken the lead. They're ahead by nearly an entire level right now. Also, Hunter-Gatherer has been completed for Podibos. So he has the extra armor now, as has Misha. And we talked about this yesterday. I actually think that it is a little bit disrespectful from Blizzard to increase the movement speed of Rexa, but not increase the movement speed of Misha, who we know is the alpha in the relationship. So Misha is still a little bit slower right now. And we need a little bit of AJWs, Animal Justice Warriors, to definitely start a bit of a hashtag on Twitter and make sure that the outrage is known and that Blizzard sees the error in their ways and realizes that they're discriminating against animals here, because that is just absolutely not okay. Misha needs to be sped up. We need a 10% movement speed for Misha, or we are going to riot. I'm not going to pay my monthly subscription for Heroes of the Storm anymore. That's definitely the leverage that we have. Blakidney, by the way, pausing the game here, so they might have a couple of problems with the connection. But let's go over the damage a little bit while we're having this in play right now. We're currently having 35,000 for Chromie and 27k for Greymane. It's 4 kills against 3. There's still a lead that we're seeing in experience on the side of Nothing Left, but they don't have a talent advantage. That's the most important part. If you look over to the gem count, it's 54 in the hands of Washed Up and 78 in the hands of Nothing Left, which means that both of the teams have currently an opportunity to go in and try and get the next Web Weaver wave. And that's actually all that they have to do right now. So you have still a big window before your opponent hits level 16 talents where you can try and get that additional turn in. Hazu is honestly the one that has suffered the most throughout the game so far. And he has been caught quite a bit here. We've seen this multiple times right now, that he gets hit by a stun, for example, with the Nubarak engage. The second one connects too, and then Misha comes in and delivers the final blow. So it's really a bit tricky for him, keeping himself alive there. But there's the turn-in potential again. Oh, but Likidny? Oh, wow, barely able to stun it out. That was important. And they're racking a Nubarak. That's gems lost now too. That turned quickly. Yep, I give that ragdoll move a 10 out of 10 here for sure. And in the meantime, everybody else rotated topside and is now delivering the final gems here. One stack, by the way, is missing for Gul'dan to complete his level 1 quest. So that is going to be important as well. To make sure that they are defending this a little bit easier. But now we're nearly even on experience again. And this is the chance that Washed Up has to maybe take the first fort of the game down. Honestly, I would be shocked if the one at the bottom of the map doesn't fall. That one has to just simply get dropped. Now they're starting to move straight through the middle, trying to see if they first of all can burn down the camp that has been taken before, which is exactly what they already did. But they need to try and get a little bit more done. Greymane is murdering Web Weavers. Blakidny has 40 gems on the other hand, so he can't be... Uh-oh. 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 Oh! 40 gems! And Nubarak tries to get them, but he can't. No, he got them! And Nubarak actually got them! Oh, okay, that was big. Nice feint death, wow! Great dodge by Podeboss, nicely done. But yeah, Greymane down, but Speedwagon collected all of the gems there. It was honestly impressive. I would have thought that they lose everything. If they lose the gems, they're so far behind, they might have as well lost the game. But now it's a boss attempt that we're seeing from them. Greymane is down for another 5 seconds. That's a little bit of a sneaky boss attempt if they actually go for this. And I'm not quite sure if they can pull that off, because Nothing Left has already sniffed out what's happening. So they make the rotation into the middle and into the top. So I don't think that you can actually go for that boss. They can set up the trap, yeah, but that's about it. And there's the owl already, and that ends that play. If Gul'dan stays bot lane, it's a different story. Then they can definitely try and make that play. Both of the teams still have the gems for another turn, by the way. So that's going to be pretty sweet here too. Greymane already sitting down here, waiting for someone to approach and start to move in. But you can get another turn in for both of them. Here comes the play. They go for Mena. Timeout being used just in time. And there's the heals. And Mena is going to survive. And Nubarak, on the other hand, is not going to be so lucky. The cockroach gets stomped. And the arrow. Oh my god. Nic just sucked them out of the arrow path. Obviously not intentional, but that was unfortunate. Therefore, the arrow not connecting with anything. Blakidney is going to fall 100%. He's down already, and that's 7 kills against 4 now. And they are currently trying to move in to make sure that they're having another opportunity to go for the Web Weavers. And, as it turns out, they want to go for the boss as well. Alright. Down at the bottom of the map, DAB had defend this too. Eternal is still trying to guard the turning point to make sure that they can take the boss, and now they make the play for the double. Web Weavers are already descending, and the boss is about to be taken. There's obviously nothing that Nothing Left can do about it. The owl comes in, checks it out, but instead Gul'dan has rotated down to the bottom of the map to at least get some counter pressure here. Deal with the Web Weavers early, burn those waves down, put a bit of damage onto the fort. So that's definitely going to help, but the top lane, that's going to hurt now. Top lane is really going to hurt at this point. So, well, there we have the Web Weavers already in play. Gul'dan is playing this safe with 42 gems. This is a smart thing to do. And here's the setup. We're trying to go for the kill against the Nubarak. This time Speedwagon is ready. As we're looking at the damage and the kills, Speedwagon has been taken down 4 times, but also not really easy to survive with a Nubarak against the setup that they're facing off against here. 50,000 damage for Mena. So far the Chromie setup is working out for them. Web Weavers in the middle are destroying the fort. The fort at the top lane has already been dropped. And now they're moving straight in for the top lane right now. And there we have it. Moving straight in and starting to take down the keep. This keep is a goner. Web Weavers and boss are still there. You can't save that. The arrow again missing. Arrows are just missing all over the place. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, it doesn't really help that Johanna is moving in with a Condemn all the time. The damage again, Horrify being used now too. And they're trying to get the kills in. Eternal jumps indeed. The keep is down. And guess what? The one at the bottom of the map is falling too. Double keep destroyed. And with that, it's just an absolute nightmare for Nothing Left right now. 1 level away from level 20. That's where we're seeing Washed Up at this point. And down to the bottom of the map, we are having just the defense set up once more. Alright, so on the other hand, there's the quick scout over to the camps, just seeing if someone is grabbing this one already. The one thing that we can't forget, despite the advantage that Washed Up has, is the amount of gems that are still being held by Nothing Left. Keep in mind, they have 2 turn-ins. If they get the turn-in, they have 2 in a row, potentially. They have enough gems for that, no problem. You just need to deliver them somehow. And if they really, really capitalize on the double turn-in, this late in the game, they could in theory still snowball this. But obviously, you need to start somewhere. You need to start getting a couple of kills. And in the last few minutes, they have been the ones more so reacting to what's happening on the map than being the ones that take the initiative here. So for now, we're having level 20 dropping into the hands of Washed Up. They don't have the amount of gems yet that they need to get a turn-in for themselves, but they can still push the mid lane, for example, especially with a camp that is still pushing through here. So here, once again, level 20s are in. Indestructible being chosen. We're also having the Serenity now, Seraphim, and the Bullseye. And Mena has now the Piercing Sand, so this is like even better for him. The damage output on his part is going to be quite solid. It doesn't really seem that they're going to be too aggressive around the keep. They're just pushing all of the lanes out and taking also the vision away by attacking the structures here right now. With this, we're having top side Still, everyone just... This is just the play where Nothing Left says, guys, we can't win anything until we have 20. Let's wait for 20, get 20, and then try and win a fight and get the double turn in. And this is the danger, really. Washed Up is not out of this yet. They are massively ahead. Again, I'm repeating myself here. The 2 keeps are important. But with this many gems in their hands, Nothing Left has an opportunity. This is one of the biggest things that they've been able to pull off the entire time. That they have not lost any, or well, they have not lost a lot of their gems. They collected most of them. So they have now, they have 120 right now. If they get a kill at any point here and can make a play around that and then turn in, now that they have level 20, they definitely have a chance to come back into this. Demonic Circle is being chosen, Shooting Star, Rewind for Nurok, stun amount from him is now pretty enormous, and we're also having the kill command. But they need at some point to really flip the switch. Because the lanes are obviously pushing aggressively against them, and at the top lane there's a double catapult already amassing with a third one on its way, and once that they hit the core you are in trouble. So you need to force a fight around one of the turn-in points, especially when Washed Up has enough gems to get a turn-in themselves. And they're not there yet. Washed Up is not at that point yet, but they're close. They're only 16 away from it. Alright, here comes the attack. They're trying to go for Urel. That didn't work out. Oh god, it's a disaster. It's a triple kill. Misha, Greymane, and an Uburak are all dead. And the catapults are finally starting to home in on the top lane. And look at Linked. Linked has absolutely no chance to get away from this one. Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. Now they're starting to lose gems. They still have 103, but they lost a lot of them. But here comes DAB. He's going to get them another turn in. So that at least is going to elevate some of the pressure. What this does is it makes sure that Washed Up doesn't get a turn in with which they can end. So instead the Web Weavers are going to come down, but you can already tell that Washed Up is still eager to go for game here. They want to go for the core without the Web Weavers. They're just saying, what do we care? Let's just go for the core right away. They only have 3 heroes. Yep, and that's 56 gems on Rexa. And his feigned death, he's not a really good actor. He's not fooling anybody with that little move. And that's Rexa down and 56 gems gone. And that core is going down quickly. At this point, here comes Nurok again, keeping everybody alive. And that's game. Washed Up takes the 1-0 lead in this best of 5 series at the Division S Europe playoffs against Nothing Left. Tomb of the Spider Queen, Chromie successful here right now. And Washed Up with the victory. GG, and well played. Game number 2, everybody. Nothing Left against Washed Up, and Washed Up has the lead. Chromie successful in game number 1. Nothing Left had a chance to come back with all the gems that they were holding towards the end of the game, but the one fight over the bottom turn-in pretty quickly turned against them, so yeah, didn't quite work out for them there, but at least they were trying to fight their way back into this. Obviously, as we said before, there's sub-players now on both sides. Nic and Nurok for JayPL and Smexy, and Speedwagon for Mopsio, who will be back tomorrow, if they make it to tomorrow's matches, if they can play tomorrow there. But yeah, Towers of Doom is map number 2, Washed Up with a pretty solid performance in the first game, and a very early ban against Falstad. The Bird, Mr. KFC himself, getting banned out there on the first spot, so no chance to play around that global at least. Alright, now I'm very intrigued to see what else we're going to see in terms of bans from them at least. But yeah, the bans have Tracer, DAB gets still targeted there. Some things just don't change. Speed buff or not, doesn't really matter. It's actually interesting. I've been talking a bit about Artanis and that especially the Purifier Beam is now more useless than it was before, because the movement speed of all the heroes is obviously making it harder to get value out of it. And people pointed other talents out as well, like for example the Ravenous Spirit or even Asmodan with his globes. So yeah, that 10% movement speed increase has definitely a pretty big impact on a lot of the heroes that all of a sudden find themselves pretty heavily nerfed. Like, a lot of the talents got significantly nerfed, if you think about it, unless Blizzard makes adjustments to really compensate for that again, and speeds those talents up as well. I mean, either way, for our game at hand, we're having Zeratul now banned out, and Zeratul got slightly adjusted too, especially the auto-attack build has been a bit buffed. We're still asking ourselves what Ty paid Blizzard to bribe them there, because everything that he plays has been buffed pretty much. Hanzo banned out, Tyrande picked quickly by Linked on the first pick, so the interrupts that we're having again there. And the Li Ming pick for Mene here on towers. Alright. Okay. What else? What are we gonna see from washed up there? And Nurok Nic this time wants to make sure that he actually gets the stuns this time. Takes the hero away from Speedwagon, who we do not really know a whole lot about. It's like a real life connection from Boss, that's all that I know. But I'm not really quite sure how much they train together, how well he really syncs up with the team there. So far he had a rough first game, but you can't really blame that on him, to be honest. I think he had a couple of really cool moments there, generally speaking. DAB this time with Vala. My girl has been buffed a little bit, so particularly the hit point pool of her has been increased, which of course makes her a bit more sustainable, a bit more viable against any kind of burst damage. So we'll see how much DAB can play around Vala right now. That should be pretty fun. And Vala is also pretty quick on her feet right now with that movement speed bonus and the extra hatred movement speed that you get through the level 1. Speedwagon on Johanna, so Jojo comes into play. And we have Maiev banned out. This kind of still holds true. If you go up against nothing left, Maiev is definitely a hero you are kind of worried about a little bit. Kidney has been playing that hero so much and he usually just murders people with it. So yeah, Maiev gets in this case also banned out. You don't want to deal with that at all. Then again, nothing left. Could target... Oh, okay, I was also thinking about targeting maybe Hazuops. But it's Anna that gets banned out here. So, yeah, Nurok still on the support. As I said before, Nurok switched games, mainly, but still every now and then dabbles here a little bit. And of course picked up the opportunity to sub in for Washed Up, since Smexy and JayPL can't play this weekend. And yeah, I'm gonna see that Malfurion again, following up on the roots of the of the stuns of the Nurok with a quick root. Could definitely be a play. Deckard Cain! And Chen! We talked about Chen earlier. I mentioned that in the previous series he was played a lot. And now we have the Panda back to business here. It is Chen time, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. After the recent buffs that he actually received on a couple of the talents and the rework, he now sees a lot more play. Blizzard has finally put him in a spot where people are saying like, alright. You pushed him over the edge now, this is totally fine. He is definitely useful here, especially the Russians love to play him. And so did Wind and Rain. Greymane buffed too. Kidney plays him again, second time. Boss on Dehaka for a little bit of global action here on Towers of Doom. And then again, for Hazops, what are we going to get on the damage output from him? Didn't have a Junkrat today, by the way, yet. Junkrat has not been played today yet at all. Could be a hero that Hazo considers. But, yep, here on Towers, let's see if we're going to see auto attack instead. We have seen against Vala in the previous, against Tracer in the previous game, still Jimmy, but that was on Battlefield of Eternity, very different map. But auto attacks it is regardless. Sergeant Hammer by Hazops, as we are heading into Towers of Doom, map number 2 in the best of 5 series here at the Division S Europe playoffs. Game number 2. Washed up, ladies and gentlemen, with a lead against nothing left at this point. On the left side, Hazops on Sergeant Hammer, Nic on Nurok with Meno and Li Ming, Nurok on Deckard Cain. I always knew that Nurok identifies as an old man. Eternal on Chen, and on the right side of the map, we currently have Boss on Dehaka. We're seeing Kidney on Greymane, Speedwagon on Johanna this time, linked on Tyrande, and we have DAB on Vala. I'm a little bit hyped. I want to see cool Vala plays, to be honest. It's been a while since my girl was really meta. She was, obviously, for a long time, especially in the double support days. But right now, I really want to see what exactly happens in this one. And it's an arrow build, actually, so no multi-shot hybrid from DAB. Horrible skin, by the way. I gotta say that right up front. There's a couple of really cool skins for Vala. This isn't one of them. This is absolutely not one of them. DAB with one of the worst skins that the Heroes has. It's just, it is utter garbage. They're really good skins for the hero, but I am very disappointed. Does he write the money pick at least? Not even the money pick. DAB, I'm sorry, but the Russian judges just have talked about it and they are giving you a 2 out of 10. They give you a 2. I'm really sorry, but the style points, they are just not there. They're not there. So yeah, very unfortunate, but we have an arrow build. No multi-shot hybrid, no attempt to just capitalize on the movement speed increase a little bit. So we'll see. Either way, With that said, we're also having on the other side still a Panda Power all the way up into the top, and Eternal has actually gone for the Eye of the Tiger on level 1. So pretty much the same build that was played before. Now again, there have been a couple of changes on the talent side, and we've seen those in action in the Wind and Rain series earlier today. So that is going to be an important thing to talk about. It really feels like the fresh ingredients were just tested out by a couple of players now that it has the cooldown reduction, but it doesn't really seem like this is a build that we're going to see a lot. Most of them have gone back to the Eye of the Tiger start into this. So yeah. That said, we're having still Nurok with those follow-ups on the stuns the entire time. Hazuops with the level 1 ambush here instead. And the level 10 on Chen is also going to be interesting, because obviously the keg was now buffed as well. You get an armor increase, which makes you a bit more sustainable, and the cooldown was reduced too on the keg, which allows you to spam it out a little bit more. But again, you look at the triple panda and it's just pretty sweet, so most of them will, I think, still go into the panda power. Depends a lot on how exactly you could use a keg here. But either way, we're gonna answer all of those questions later. That said, Blikidney is already jumping in on his Grey main, another hero that got buffed in the last one. But in this case right now, we have once more the stun against the Nurok. So yeah, Link is connecting those, and here's the triple altar phase, as Hazo has to be a bit cautious down at the bottom of the map, but he obviously now has the siege tactics, so that's going to be super important for him as well. It's one of the talents that at least got changed a little bit. I mean, previously you didn't even have to be in siege mode to activate it, and that was incredibly powerful. It's still really strong, but it was obviously incredibly OP before, so yeah, that was slightly changed by Blizzard. Some of the changes that were definitely were better thought out than other stuff that they put in recently. But either way, dominance on level 4 for... there's the first channel. The Haka is actually trying to get the one at the top left. Has to interrupt that. The main fight is happening down at the bottom of the map, where we see a 3 versus 3 right now, since at the top there's still a 2 versus 2 going on, as the Panda is starting to focus onto the channel as well. Down here, zone out against Speedwagon. Does he have a flashlight? No, but he doesn't need one, because that owl connected, interrupted, and now the rotations are coming in. Blikidney wants to go for the kill, but Nic jumps out. Main, on the other hand, is ready and gets the connect against Link, so that bottom altar is still being fought over by both of the teams. The level 7 talent, on the other hand, is slightly quicker for nothing left, and that's a problem. That's a big problem now. Here comes the Haka, trying to go for the drag, misses that. And they still can't get that altar. Level 7 is still not there, but it doesn't seem to matter. Even with the level 7 talent advantage, nothing left is just not in a position where they can take this as easily as they were hoping for. They get the camp as well. Now 7 is ready on both sides, and that gives Main a calamity. That's one of the biggest tools in his arsenal, and he uses it immediately to put the pressure on DAB, who at least dodges out on some of the damage. Main is still there, still ready. Lockdown attempt, nice one too. And they should be able to get this one this time, or do they? Blikidney and Poryboss are still there. It's a good drag against Chen again. Brewmaster's balance on level 7 for him. And they're jumping in once more. We're also seeing now the Emeralds taken. Aggression against Blikidney. The Panda is in trouble. And so is the Wolf. And I think the Wolf is the one to fall first. And down he goes. Yep, Panda beats Wolf apparently. Alright. That was a quick kill right there. Linked. And Tyrande is down. Yep. That's the double kill right there. We got the channel as well. We get the damage. There it is. Oh, like, wait a second. Why do they not channel that thing? Alright, shots are fired. 8 stacks on the level 4 for Vala, so she is slowly starting to get a few more in after she had the repeating arrow on level 7. And Uberok with only 5 stacks on the globes on the other hand, and that's a pretty important quest talent, because it gives you 500 additional hit points when you complete it. That's kind of important there. 2 kills against 0. Experience lead for nothing left, by the way. But still, when you look at the objective, it's pretty obvious who's taking that lead. Greymane and Vala with Monster Hunter on level 1. That's an insane setup to take any kind of camp on the map. That could play a role later on when we're talking about bosses. If you have the level 4 quest completed for Vala and then you go in with Monster Hunter and the double arrow and you add Greymane to that equation, then you are all of a sudden in a spot where you can burn that boss down extremely quickly. So that could play a huge role in the later stage of the game. Level 10 abilities are there, and thanks to the half-level lead that Nothing Left has. they have the earlier one. And that's now the Cursed Bullet, upgraded to 40% damage of the current health over the previous 35. So one of the advantages that he has right now. Vala still with the Rain of Vengeance. Against Chen, you kinda don't want to go into Strafe. Now, Tai in particular for Granite Gaming has played a lot with Strafe and also with a lot of success, but it always depends a bit on what you're up against. And if you have a lot of dive heroes against you, it's not really something that you should take there. Especially since Strafe can of course be countered by a web or any kind of stun immediately. So in this case, it makes a whole lot of sense on so many levels to go for Rain of Vengeance instead. First of all, you're basically guaranteed to get more value out of it, and second of all, it also keeps you slightly safer whenever the Panda is trying to make a move straight into the backline. Same is true for Nubarak as well. So, for now, we're having both of the teams just gearing up for the next turn-in, I was about to say. But yeah, for the next move there. And it's actually an interrupt and a double against the top left. Alright, so Eternal has to actually watch out for this. They are going to get this one eventually. You can't just simply walk over to the opponent's side and steal their altar away. It's not as easy as it might seem. Because there's just like the distance to the fountain is a little lower, you have a retreat point, your opponent doesn't. So you can poke from the safety of the fort. So it's still an even exchange, but it's definitely a delayed one. And that still has us with 32 against 28 points. But the next phase is going to be more interesting since we are not looking at a double phase any longer. And of course, once that we have the second triple altar phase coming in, that's a completely different story then. Yeah, and Nubarak's still struggling to get a lot of the stacks together for his level 1. Same goes, by the way, also for Vala, who's sitting at 12 stacks right now. It's nothing too crazy just yet. But yeah, now that we're having our little setup there, it feels like the aggression is heading more and more towards the bottom of the map, where Nothing Left is now attempting to pressure the bell tower. Problem is that Hazorps is just sieged up there the entire time, so you can't really pressure too much there. Eternal already jumping out. Blessed Shield, Bullet, Drag, and Kill. The Panda down, and Tyrannus stun didn't even connect because Dehaka just simply dragged Chen out of that. But that was exactly one of those quick kills that you want to see from a composition like the one that Nothing Left is running here. That was perfect for them. That was absolutely perfect for them. And yeah, these are the kills that they need. This was the first kill that they got as well, and it was a perfectly executed combo. Well, maybe not perfect, because again, Tyrannus stun didn't connect because she was dragged out. That doesn't even matter. I mean, even without the stun, they got the kill within half a second. If they have the stun too, they can even have a little bit more time, but if the entire team is around, you can just delete people completely, which is exactly what they did there. Level 13, still Gloom taken. Doesn't need the additional arrow talent here. So, top. That's where we are having the push starting to come in. And they are threatening that top bell tower heavily. That top bell tower is starting to become a problem. Grenades, on the other hand, I mean, the mines at the bottom of the map are everywhere. Greyman jumps in and tries to prevent the wall from falling as the pumpkins are burrowing through. 13 ready on both sides now, which gives us on 13 also the enough to share. Alright, gets even more of a shield there now. The allies. Dehaka obviously is sitting topside and attempting to get that bell tower control that they really want, which would really help them with that shrine. Or with that altar, no matter who takes it. Yeah, that little NATO didn't really do too much. That unfortunately for them did not connect the way that they were hoping for. And that fight is still raging on, and guess what? The top bell tower has now been taken, and Nubarak successfully grabbed it and is now burrowing in. Dehaka, that is. Sorry, Dehaka took it. And Nubarak is also successfully doing things, but he's more stunning out the backline there. DAB is in trouble and it's just simply on the run. Cocoon is already out, but a noob, oh my god. He actually gets saved, and Nubarak gets saved, and Johanna is dead. It was a great start against the Beetle, but it didn't work out, and now Dehaka is just licking his wounds. He gets dropped. Owl again with the interrupt. Hazorps dodges out on it, but boy. 32 against 28, and that is now at least 3 shots fired. Keep in mind they lost the top bell tower, so they don't get the full 4 shots that they would like to have here. But they can't push for the bottom of the map either. At least we're having Sergeant Hammer sitting topside now and trying to regain control over the top bell tower. But everything that's currently happening down at the bottom of the map is that Nothing Left is trying to push out the lane here and see if they can put additional pressure onto the bell tower. Nothing Left have that Dehaka advantage, and it really starts to show in some of these fights when they can just like delay through cocktails, flashlights from Johanna, and then also the owls and Tyrande. That really gives them additional time for Dehaka to get value. It's one of the reasons why the red team, despite the kill difference, is still ahead in experience, and why the top bell tower was taken previously. But once that advantage is gone, I think Washed Up is going to take it here. But now the Panda falls, and these are the kills that I've been talking about earlier. If you get those kills in, that's fantastic. The problem is there's a counter kill against Vala. That's an issue. That's also an issue. Everything missing from Poribos here as he's trying to go in. The ult misses, the drag misses. They're still looking for an opportunity to get the kill, and they might. Here comes Linked with the heals. Gets the Starfall through too, but the stun doesn't hit. They're still going for Mena, and they are getting Mena. Mena is down, and that's now level 16 talents. 4-0 left. 3 kills against 5. They're looking for another connect here. And now the elongated tongue. Vala going into the seething hatred at this point. Alright. And again, things are starting to become a little bit more tricky for Washed Up. Washed Up needs to be slightly careful here. They have taken a pretty significant lead early on, but they're starting to lose that completely here. So yeah, they're going straight in for the plays again. In comes the aggression with the Rain of Vengeance. Eternal goes for the triple Panda and is trying to get the damage through. Nic comes in with another stun from the side. The problem is that Li Ming is still not here, and Mena's just now coming back, but they might still get the kill, and they do get the kill. They take down Tyrande, and that's a support gone. Eternal is still alive, and we're seeing Johanna trying desperately to get out of harm's way. Portibos with another drag attempt, and there's the channel right there. Alright. Nicely done, and 4 shots fired. And I mean, Seething Hatred got changed now. That's obviously one of the talents that got hit by Blizzard. So you don't increase the duration of Hatred any longer, but instead you have the spell power increase while you're at the 10 stacks. So with spell power, if you can, for example, go into a strafe, that would be fantastic. We talked about the reasons why in this case it's not really working a lot for you, but it helps with the puncturing arrow. So the arrow build is definitely empowered through all of that. That really, really helps. But yeah, bottom bell tower is channeled. That means 5 shots are now being fired through the channel of the altar. And they're getting those 5 easy peasy, and at this point we're looking at 16 against 32 points. So despite the fact that the red team was actually starting to get a bit of momentum in this game, they are now starting to fall farther and farther behind, at least when it comes to the objective and the points on the core, because in experience they're still ahead, and they again get the quick kill. These insanely quick kills is their bread and butter. This is exactly what they need to do, and every single time they get one of these setups, they lay a little bit of a trap, they end up with getting a kill, and now they get a double kill here. And honestly, I still feel they also have to capitalize on the bots a little bit more. And yes, finally they're going for it. Look how quickly they get this thing. I talked about this earlier. You have a Monster Hunter build with arrows on Vala and the repeating arrow, and on top of that you have Greymane. You can burn the boss down in a couple of seconds every single time it's on the map, and you feel you have a slight advantage. That can be a rotational advantage, that can be a hero advantage through a couple of kills. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. So it's 5 kills against 6, 16 against 28 points on the core. Hazo is reclaiming the top bell tower, but at the bottom of the map, they have taken control of another one. And with Greymane in particular, you can take these structures down in the late game without a problem. And this increases the lead and experience that they have right now. And they're trying to go for another bell tower. So if you look at the minimap at this point, you can actually realize really quickly that while Washed Up has a significant lead on the belt, on the core points, they're starting to lose a lot of ground on the map. Now, they're trying to reclaim that. But the speed with which Nothing Left just took 3 of those bell towers is important, because it makes you realize that whenever Washed Up loses a fight, they might not instantly lose the game, but they could be pushed far, far behind. Linked with the channel at the bottom, they have 5 bell towers against 3, still important. Portibos is trying to hold on to the top. There's the exchange, 5 shots against 3 fired, and Dehaka's going to get the second altar at the top right, especially with the level 20, and that means we're now talking about 13 against 18 points. The gap is closing. And in addition to that, we're now having Imbala on level 20 with a far flight quiver, so increased range, which means that you can stay safer in the back. Work those stutter steps in. Contagion, Shooting Star, Hunter's Blunderbuss, great talents, and a level ahead. So they are going for the pumpkin camps now. They are going for the map control again. They can maybe push another bell tower here. And Washed Up just has to sit tight They have to take the beating, and they have to wait for themselves to gain level 20. And the Nurok still hasn't even come close to completing his quest. He's 60% done with it. He's lacking another 9 globes, which means that for a long time he won't be able to rely on those additional 500 hit points. And this simply matters. That is just important at this point. They need their 20, they need those quests completed, and they need some momentum. They need to win a team fight, and they've shown multiple times now they can do exactly that. So this game is totally open. Washed Up has a chance for the 2-0, but right now Nothing Left is trying to make big arguments for them tying the series after this one. And it would actually, if Washed Up loses here, it would be the first game that Chen loses today. Chen has played 3 games today, and he won every single one of them. There we have again. Level 20s, this time with the bottomless flask. There we go. Rewind on top of that as well. And obviously the ultra capacitors. And a single altar spawning on the map. Only one. Could be 5 shots. Could be less. Depending on the aggression that comes now against the bell tower. But with all the poke, it seems like they're going to reclaim it right now. Yep, there it is. 4 against 4. Dehaka on the other hand, in the mid lane. Oh yeah, Dehaka wants this one. And he's gonna get it. He is going to get it. Just as we have the channel at the bottom of the map. So again, 5 against 3. The bell towers on the map. Dehaka comes in from behind, trying to make the play there. Shots are not connecting from Li Ming. There's the drag attempt. There's the cocoon. They burn that one down quickly. Alright, cocoon is used. There's the Lornado. Nice attack against Hazu. Good Rain of Vengeance as well. And the damage output. Yep, there's a kill potentially against Eternal, but the Pandas are moving away. Nicely done. Big exchange of cooldowns from both sides now, but it looks like we're seeing Washed Up with the channel after all. Ah, there's the interrupt, there's the flashlight, so they're not giving up on it just yet. Ah, there we have it. Channel through. Bam, 3 shots fired. Again, the aggression down here. 20 versus 20. Balon 30,000 damage. Dehaka in trouble. Nic also eating a lot here, but it's a dinosaur that goes down. Speedwagon also on the run. They're trying to get Hazu, but he is speeding away once more. And now Blakitne is about to fall. Or not. Gets out, but again, Nurok with another great Lornado, and there's the double kill. First Hammer takes down Tyrande, and then Li Ming eliminates Greymane. Now they're going for Vala. DAB goes down. That's 4 heroes dead already with 10 points on the core. It's a full 5-man team wipe, ladies and gentlemen. They just rack everybody. Boss, let's check that real quickly. Up in another 30 seconds. That's definitely an opportunity, but at least they can reclaim the bell towers already. 68,000 damage from Hazu Ops alone. Another 52,000 from Mena on Li Ming. And now they're just going for the pumpkin camps on the left, on the right. They can go for the middle, where Li Ming is already headed to reclaim the bell tower over here. That's going to be an easy one. And then they can try and take even more with this. 10 against 18, 5 heroes down. Boss, as I said, up in another 20. Another 2 actually at this point. So they can either focus on the bot lane, trying and escort all of this through, or they can now make the rotation towards the top, go for the boss, wait for someone to appear on the bot lane to defend. And either way, it's starting to become a bit of a checkmate position. Against Nothing Left. Right now, they're starting to jump in. Nubra completes his quest too. The power spikes are coming. Boss is taken as expected. That's already 4 shots fired. At the bot lane, they're defending. It's 5 bell towers against 3. So with the 4 shots already connecting, that puts them down to 6. If they get 1 single altar, that puts them onto a single point, which means that Boss cannot let one of these through. Not even one. They get the 4 connected, or sorry, the 5 connected from here. Boom. That puts it down to 1. Yeah, Dehaka is still fighting, still fighting, still fighting. Getting both of them, has to burrow up, because it's all about that little last altar right now. 18 against 1, that's where we're sitting right now. 18 against 1. Chen hasn't lost a game today yet. Is he gonna lose one? Well, he's dying again, I can tell you that much. And so far he's died 4 times. I mean, he's the one that gets bullied the entire time. And it just feels, just for now, as if Nothing Left has bought themselves a little bit more time. Yep, they're going straight in for the channel again. And they get it. That's 3 shots fired, so they put the core down to 15. It's 15 against 1. We had crazier comebacks. So it is obviously a tall order, but we had crazier situations in this game. Not only to HGC times, also after that. I mean, just recently we had a game with 22 points on the core against 2. and they were able to win. So let's see what's happening down here. There's the kill attempt. Nic is dead within a second, but Blickitney is also in trouble, and Blickitney falls. It's a kill for a kill. Dehaka wasn't there though. Dehaka wasn't there either. No, he's not moving in. He took the bell tower topside. It's 4 against 4 now. 2 heroes dead, but still a 4 versus 3 on the map, and Dehaka is starting to push the mid lane right now. Bottom of the map, that's where we have a little bit more pressure too. It's all over the place this game. Kills versus kills coming in the entire time, and every team is trying to get a small advantage. It's 4 bell towers against 4. They're trying to fight for the one at the bottom again, and they're slowly pushing them back here. Chen is moving in from behind right now and joins up with the rest of the team. Dehaka is still sitting at the side, and they're looking to make the play for the pumpkins. Again, once they get those, they at least alleviate some of the pressure against the core, because they can't afford a single one of them to come through here. So yep, tabbing at the fountain, starting to make their play there. Owl comes through, Altar, single one, spawning, and it's at the bottom of the map. That's the one lane where they don't want it to spawn. Nothing left needs to reclaim their bell tower. If they don't, then they have to throw a Hail Mary there. And it looks very much like that's exactly what they're going to do. Yep, Mena already gets found out with the Owl. Good job by Ling, so they can dodge out on the damage and don't have to eat that. But again, they don't have a retreat point. They don't. Bell tower on the left, bell tower on the right, under the control of Washed Up. They need to win the fight, they need to win it quickly, and they need to make sure that they don't have to retreat at any point. It's a 4 versus 4 right now. Greymane is moving in right now as well. 5 versus 5, my bad. And there we go. That's the action right there. Panda power. They're trying to zone for Nurok. Nurok with a channel gets interrupted, but Jojo is low. Speedwagon. Oh, gets killed. Goes down, and that's the Tyrande death just following shortly after. Nicely done by Washed Up. Nurok is going for the channel. He gets it, and that is game. The shots are fired, and this is it. Vala dies as the core explodes. 15 against 0, and that's a 2-0 lead for Washed Up in the best of 5 against nothing left. Game number 3, Battlefield of Eternity, could theoretically be the last map of this series, depending a bit on how Nothing Left performs here now. Washed Up has actually done pretty well. I mean, they are, obviously they're 2-0 now, but the way that they've been playing has been pretty impressive. So Battlefield of Eternity is a super brawly map, and it has been the map that Washed Up picked, so Nothing Left went for first pick, first ban, and Washed Up just said, alright, let's brawl, boys. And that's exactly what they're trying to do here right now. But let's have a quick look at what the bans are going to be for this one. Because, again, we could see the Tracer ban against DAB, that's the first one. Chen is interesting because, as I said, he is on a 4-0 right now. His win streak is extremely, extremely solid. And the main question is just simply, what can they pull off here? Is Chen getting picked again? Is it something that they can play around here? Hanzo gets banned first. I would actually really... I would believe that Nothing Left bans out Sergeant Hammer on the first, because usually Sergeant Hammer is getting picked by Washed Up here if they get the chance to, but it's always a later pick for them. It's never really something that they are addressing very early in the draft, because it also can be counter-picked. So that's what I would expect. There's the Tracer ban that I already highlighted a little bit earlier. Zeratul was something that they previously started to eliminate there. But yeah, let's see. What else are we gonna see from Nothing Left now? Let's have a look at this. Honestly, I'm not quite sure who you target there with the bans again. I would say Mena probably. No, just go for Nubarak again. And Nubarak has been played now in the last game by Nic. In the previous game, they themselves picked it. But yeah, today Mopsio is replaced. Speedwagon is subbing in, a real-life friend of Podibos, since Mopsio can't make it today. And on the other hand, we have Nurok and Nic replacing JayPL and Smexy. Can't make it either, so a little bit of a different setup here. And so far, that setup is working out extremely well for Washed Up. I mean, this is just working perfectly for them. And there's the ban against Tyrande, alright. Link has picked it 2 times now. It gets additional value on Battlefield of Eternity against the Immortal. Down goes Tyrande. First pick potential. Li Ming has been first picked by a lot of the teams. Might be something that they're considering right now. DAB definitely solid on that hero. Unless they want to focus on something completely different here. But Li Ming would be one of the usual suspects in this setup right now. has established herself as a hero in that first slot position. And there she is. With Tracer banned out and Tyrande banned out, that was pretty much one of the heroes that would you expect here, especially since Hanzo has also been eliminated. I guess if you really feel that he's strong enough to be picked here, you could say that on Battlefield of Eternity, Greymane could start to rotate higher and higher in priority, but not quite something I want to see on the first pick rotation, to be honest. There's Urel for Eternal and Garrosh for Nic. Okay. Frontline secured. You already know what you are playing on the offlane. Are we going to see a bit of a Panda power here? Previously it got played. I think in the previous series it was actually nothing... Wind and Rain that played it on Battlefield of Eternity. And, well, there's Malfurion for Linked and Greymane. So they have both. They have Liming and they have Greymane. It's an old school comp, but especially in Battlefield of Eternity, you now have that range poke from Liming whenever there's a bit of a stalemate, and Greymane whenever you get close and you want to race, you can take down the Immortal super quickly. And we have seen some really cool rotations now with Greymane as well, setting him on structures on a lane and just take that down super easily. But yeah, bans are coming in, and this is where I would expect the Sergeant Hammer ban from Nothing Left. Especially with Urel and Garrosh. Ooh, okay. I mean, again, Alarak was banned out pretty reliably against Mena, so I don't really blame them for that thought, but I think they're going to regret that. I feel like for them it would have been easier to deal with Alarak than with Hammer, and I'm pretty sure that Hammer is coming now. I think probably not in this rotation, but I think Hammer is going to be the last pick for them.
I'm here to help.
There's Jaina. No, they go for Jimmy. Alright, they go for Jimmy. Fair enough, with Li Ming in and Malfurion there, they're not going for Hammer, they are going for Jimmy instead. Still great, but yep, with Urel there to create some space, Garrosh to throw the targets out, and everybody able to save Hammer. I expected them to just go for the Sergeant here. Alright. Leaves us with the frontliners for Nothing Left. So still a chance to pick the Panda. There is the Panda. And Johanna again. Alright, let's see. Chen today, 4-0. Can he go into a 5-0 win rate? And what's the last pick here? Nurok still needs the support. Is it the old man again? What are we gonna get from him? Haven't even really paid attention too much. I mean, Ana is up too. If you want to have a nano boosted Mena. I mean, we all know that Mena is boosted, but well, are they gonna get it? Stukov! Alright. The silence. Let's go, boys. Game number 3. Could be the last one. Let's see if Nothing Left is successful with a Panda in this third game in Battlefield of Eternity of the series ends right here. Game number 3, washed up with Eternal on Urel. We're having Hazops on Jimmy. Nurok on the other hand on Stukov, Nic on Garrosh, and Mena on Jaina. Now for Polyboss on the other side, we're currently seeing him on Chen for Nothing Left. So let's see if the Panda can come through here. Linked on Malfurion. We have DAB on Liming, Speedwagon on Johanna, and Blake Kidney on Greymane. Alright. Time to see what the Panda can do. Is it the magic bullet, the holy grail of the current patch Heroes of the Storm that will lead you to victory? Or is Nothing Left just in a position where they can't win with the Panda power either? We're currently having the Eye of the Tiger build again with the level 1s, no fresh ingredients. Hazo Ops going into the Exterminator. You don't see it too often. I mean, Hazo has talked, I think, on his stream at one point that he feels the talent is really strong on the map. And it is definitely a talent that I would say you get on Battlefield of Eternity if you get it at all. If you want to have a bit more race in the Immortal, that's definitely something you can pull off there. And if you compare them to their opponent's team, especially with Greymane in the mix, you kind of want to have something that packs more of a punch against the Immortal. Nice moves, Nurok. So yeah, totally okay for him to pick Exterminator there. The Chinese are a little bit more insane. They actually pick Exterminator pretty much everywhere. Europe has by no means adopted that trend in any way. So normally, even on this map, you see the ace in the hole. very rarely, this being one of the examples, the Exterminator comes through. And it's very understandable why they actually go into that deviation at this point. But oftentimes, of course, you still want to win those team fights and then carry the objective through the victory in the team fight itself. Whereas on the Chinese end, you have quite often a very, very different approach to the game. But China has always been a little bit wild, as the recent Gold League actually showcased quite nicely. Either way, as it stands, we're currently having also on level 1 the spine launcher taken. Okay, so Nurok with a range increase at this point. Well, gets a ranged attack, let's put it like that. Mena also taking a bit of a beating down there at the bot lane. It's a pretty explosive early game, actually. I mean, both of the teams are coming out firing here. So, yep. That is pretty sweet. So, with this, we're also just waiting for a couple of the additional talents to come through, but at least we're having the hold your ground on level 1. That's already an important one. At the top lane, Greyman is actually thinking about... I actually don't know what he's thinking about here. Does he want to go for Urel? No, okay, he wants to go for the camp. So he's just sneakily going for the camp. I talked about that rotation in the previous best of 5. It's just something that you see a lot more. One of the teams rotates the heroes to the top lane. The other team sniffs it out, obviously, and then makes a quick snap decision to go for the camp at the bottom. And so they end up with one camp on each side. The one thing that is still a little bit weird with the Exterminator that we're seeing here is that you are currently looking at a setup where they have Jaina plus Jimmy. So, especially when you have the two of them together, or let's say when you have an Arthas with Jimmy, then you're more or less guaranteed to have nearly 100% proc rate on the ace in your hold. So it feels like Washed Up was really worried about not having enough damage for an Immortal poke, and therefore the Exterminator taken here. Because especially with a constant slow from multiple heroes on the other side and Jaina or Arthas in the mix, that's normally where you get the maximum value out of an ace in the hole pick. But again, went about it a little bit earlier, you do the extra damage against the Immortal and they feel that that poke is needed for them when compared to the opponent. And I can totally understand why. The Hand of Freedom again for Urel, newly changed talent in the last patch. We're also seeing the Deadly Strike coming in, of course the Dominance on level 4. And it's the first objective that matters. Urel and Li Ming have taken to the Shamans on the map and we're seeing the action happening. And in this case, it actually is Washed Up that is taking a pretty big lead on this one. The fight, on the other hand, is turning against Mena in particular, and Jaina goes down. Mena gets eliminated. The problem is that so does Malfurion. So it's a kill for a kill. And at this point, at least, we're having the halftime show won pretty handily by the blue team. So have the slight lead here. Instead, Greymane immediately on the attack on the left side. Panda's already jumping over there, trying to get some extra damage through. It does exactly that. Got the fires coming in again. But it's a race on the Immortal right now, and Greymane is just chunking away, but now Hazobs is also firing straight between the eyes of the Immortal, and with the rest of the team chipping in some damage too, that's more than enough to win the first objective. It's a small shield, but it's there, and Speedwagon gets thrown and dies. Alright, so that was a quick kill right there. Pausing the game, seems a little bit like he might have a problem there with his setup. That was at least a kill that I personally did not expect to happen. Chen, by the way, is taken down to the bot lane. Obviously, one of the goals of Polyboss is now to at least soak this wave, ideally also the second one moving in, so that they get level 7 for the defense. With the push that we're seeing right now and the Immortal moving to the top side, we should actually see level 7 for both teams. And that pretty much means that you have a really good chance, since Johanna just died, to take the wall down and also push it past the wall and take the fort. If Johanna was still there, she could just block a little bit more at the front and really try and also get those blinds through. But without her, it's going to be tricky. And I mean, we're already seeing the small wall opened up here. So it's definitely an indicator that Washed Up tries to push it past once that the minion wave breaks through too. I mean, already Garrosh is looking for an opportunity here, and they are going to try and get that fort, especially now that both teams are on level 7 talents. That gives us Calamity, but yeah, here's exactly what I've been talking about. Here comes the move straight past the fort, trying to go for Blikidney. That fort is nearly down. Nick is going to fall though. Oh, maybe not, but it's close. And yeah, the Immortal is either going to take it down. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? That's a 0. That's a 0. If I've ever seen a 0 in hit points, that is it. That is it. 38 my ass. 38 my ass. That's 0. Like, yeah. Someone sneezes on that fort and it is down. But yeah, Johanna is dead again, so Speedwagon doesn't have a good time here. That's the second time that he falls, so yeah. That was a quick one against him. The fort has fallen, but yeah. Blizzard, you can't fool me. That was a -1 there. That fort got held together by a little bit of spit, and that was about it. Nothing else. So yeah, with the kills against Johanna and the main tank just gone the entire time, you obviously don't have anything that you can throw against your opponent. You can't just move in with the range damage dealers and be completely isolated there. There's the quest completed for Nic. He's pretty quick on that here in this game. 9 against 8 is pretty close in experience still. It's not really a big gap. But it is a gap. It is a gap, and it is a gap that matters. But level 10 is obviously going to change the dynamic quite a lot. So yeah, top side, Jimmy can obviously now push this out also a little bit easier. Entire time here. I'm just waiting for heroics, to be honest. The Immortal is spawning just at the right moment in time. Look at that lead increase now. This is going to lead in a halftime show that they probably can win easy peasy. This is one of the most frustrating things when you are fighting yourself in that position, that you just can't go into the middle and fight for the objective because your opponent is about to get level 10, and this is just a dream. This is a free halftime show that they're getting right now. A little bit of counter pressure here, but it's really not too much, so they get this one easily. And now the level 10 is going to drop any second, and then they're going to win the second objective. It's such a small gap in experience, but it's enough. It's just enough to get the massive lead. There's the 10 versus 10 now, but as you can tell, this one is already incredibly low. So the lead that they have came absolutely at no cost and is super significant. Cursed Bullet again. Ring of Frost this time for Mene. That's a defensive position that Nothing Left takes now. And yep, there we go. We have our little setup with a camp. Both of the teams, by the way, going straight for the Shaman camp. But this is now the moment when you're trying to poke as much as you can and hope to simply take that Immortal, and also scouting with the Banshee going on. There we have it. Camp at the bot lane, could push that out. Chen is sitting at the side. By the way, kudos to Podibos. White War Master Chen skin, he knows what's up. The only team that are allowed to get away with the Red War Master Chen skin are the Russians, because they're going full communist with it. So I can totally respect that. Totally different meaning. But outside of that, we can all agree that the White War Master Chen setup just looks better. But the red one for the Russians makes sense, and I can absolutely appreciate that. So yeah, that's an exception that I'm willing to run with. And well, the save! Oh, the Ring of Frost! And the pandas are going down. One after another, no real kills yet. Nic and Eternal, both of them have really taken a beating in the last encounter, but both of them survived. Now on the other hand, we're having Nothing Left moving straight in to try and drop that Immortal, and they are doing pretty well with this one. They're nearly equalizing the situation again. Yeah, that Chen attack, like that entire move into the chopper was great. That on the other hand is a problem. That's a deadly minion. Yeah, Nic is just racing around right now, and that was an easy flip for him. And obviously now they have another objective that they just won with roughly 50% shields. That was pretty cool too. So yeah, nicely done. So they can just go straight down to the bot lane again. Can try and push through the second fort, and that should be an easy one, especially since they're already breaking the entire wall here. Look at Eternal too. Eternal is already sitting at the side. Eternal wants to go for the jump. Yeah, he's going to try and see if he can maybe push Malfurion in. Eternal, he's itching. He's already itching here. Left, right, left, right. Let me jump, let me jump, let me jump. Let's go, boys! Nobody's going in just yet. Nurok is baiting a little bit. There's the Blessed Shield. And yep, it was all a ruse, ladies and gentlemen. It was a bait, and there's the taunt, and the Immortal stun kill. Ring of Frost wasn't even needed anymore for the target. They get one kill, they go for Speedwagon, they secure the second, and now they go for the Panda. And that's a dead Panda right there. Nurok with his Dukov just dangling the carrot right into the face of Nothing Left, and then Urel jumps in from the side. Now we're having the virulent reaction. The keep is going to fall. 7 kills against 1. Oh, Malfurion! Link, you are in trouble. He's dead too. And yep, that is going to be an issue. not gonna be the end of the game just... Well, actually, DAB is currently totally YOLOing it here. He's running it down mid. They are apparently just accepting that this is over. And all of a sudden, we're talking potentially Core. Yep, DAB goes down. Core gets attacked too. Immortal is already dead, but we're having 2 heroes eliminated. The lockdown against Greymane. It could be a kill, and Greymane actually survives. And the Panda is still there. Now they're baiting them a little bit. So you need to be careful that they don't overstay their welcome here. They have the talent advantage right now, granted. But still, they need to be cautious. Ult has been used on the other hand. Greymane comes in again, drops the bullet immediately. Blakidney is already dancing a little bit as he's trying to get some value here. And in goes the Panda power, and the action as the Blessed Shield gets thrown out. Johanna still in trouble. The stun. Eternal needs to be cautious, does have the ult still. But talking ults, Malf is using his own too, and at this point Washed Up is saying, alright, screw it boys, let's go. Can't make this happen any longer. Eternal barely jumping out. Ult is still active for him. They go for Pody Pause. The ring is not connecting. Pody moves in the middle. Just barely dodging out on the damage, but able to pull that off. Pody a little bit low. Everybody low, to be honest with you. Talking about low, up at the top, catapults are still taking down structures here, and that turret is nearly getting wrecked. 9 kills against 1. And yeah, right now we're having solid talents at least. Level 13 is ready. 26,000 against 26,000. So the 2 top damage dealers with Jimmy and with Liming. They're coming in from the side. The taunt and the double kill. 2 down. Eternal is jumping on Malfurion as they're trying to go for Chen over here. Chen is down. Malfurion is getting attacked too. Linked. Yeah, the goat is jumping and jumping and jumping, and that's the hoof straight to the forehead of Malfurion. And that's not a combo that you're going to be too happy about. It's a 5-man team wipe that seals the deal in game number 3, and this is a 3-0 victory for Washed Up as they are claiming the big W in the best of 5 series against Nothing Left here at the Division S Europe, not qualifiers, playoffs. Yeah, the qualifiers were a few months back. But yeah, great win. Good job by Washed Up as they take down Nothing Left without losing a map.